They were once the undisputed kings of the microchip. The name Intel was the computer industry. But somewhere along the way, something changed. AMD caught up. Apple ditched them. Tech headlines screamed, "Is Intel finished?" What went wrong? And more importantly, how did Intel pull off a comeback that no one saw coming? In today's episode, we're diving deep into the boardroom blunders, the brutal market losses, and the shocking decision that saved Intel from being buried by the very future it helped create. Buckle up, because this isn't just a tech story. It's a high-stakes tale of survival, ego, and one final bet that changed everything. Welcome, this is the Roots to Riches channel, where the journey of success unfolds. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications so you never miss out on incredible stories about how the biggest companies in the world began, their toughest challenges, and the inspiring road they took to greatness. Plus, we'll be sharing life-changing tips along the way. Your support is key to growing this channel. Please share these stories with your friends, family, and anyone looking for inspiration. Thanks for being part of the journey. Let's begin. There was a time when Intel didn't just rule the silicon world, they defined it. Every chip, every leap in computing power bore their name like a crown. Intel, a name that meant power, precision, and progress. But then, everything started falling apart. What if I told you, Intel was one bad move away from completely vanishing, from being the company that powered the world, to becoming the company that nearly powered down forever? Stay with me, because what saved Intel might just save you too. You've heard the saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, Intel lived by that, and it almost destroyed them. In the early 2000s, Intel was untouchable. Their chips were everywhere, in your laptops, desktops, servers, even in grandma's clunky Dell. They were the standard. But here's where it all went wrong. While AMD and other competitors were busy experimenting, evolving, and failing forward, Intel got cozy. They kept pumping out the same basic chip architecture. Tick-tock, they called it. It was their pride, but it was also their trap. Intel failed to innovate, and worse, they failed to listen. When Apple came knocking in 2005 asking Intel to build chips that were faster, cooler, and mobile optimized, Intel laughed, literally. Okay, maybe not literally, but close enough. Apple, hey, can you help us revolutionize mobile computing? Intel, no thanks. We're too busy being the king. So what did Apple do? They turned to ARM architecture, the little chip design that could. And boom, the iPhone changed the world. And Intel missed out on the mobile revolution. That was mistake number one, arrogance. Then came the real gut punch. In 2020, the world was turning to remote work, gaming, cloud computing, and the need for powerful chips exploded. Perfect timing for Intel, right? Wrong. Intel's chip manufacturing delays were catastrophic. 7nm chip delays, product launches pushed back. They even had to outsource manufacturing to TSMC, the very company stealing their lunch money. Meanwhile, AMD, their so-called little brother, was crushing it. Fast, efficient chips. Cheaper, cooler, better. Gamers, creatives, even businesses. Everyone started jumping ship. Intel stock plummeted, investors bailed. And rumors of bankruptcy? They weren't just whispers anymore. That one bad move, it wasn't just about missing a tech trend. It was betraying their identity as innovators. But here's the part that will shock you. In 2021, Intel made a bold move. They brought back Pat Gelsinger as CEO, a guy who literally started at Intel as an intern in the 70s, helped create the 486 processor, and left for VMware. Pat didn't just bring leadership, he brought a mission. He told the world, Intel is going to lead again. Not follow, not copy, lead. They doubled down on manufacturing. They announced Intel Foundry Services, investing billions to build cutting-edge fabs in the US. They made peace with their mistakes, and even partnered with former rivals. And then came the wild card, quantum computing. Intel started quietly developing chips like Horse Ridge and Tunnel Falls. We're talking mind-bending stuff here. While most companies were still figuring out AI, Intel was building tech to outthink it. Their quantum roadmap? Aimed at solving problems classical computers could never touch. But that's not all. Gamers, you might want to sit down for this. Intel's Arc GPUs weren't just a side project. They were a signal. We're not giving up. We're not letting NVIDIA and AMD run the show. From esports sponsorships to budget-friendly gaming GPUs, Intel became relevant again to the next generation. Intel didn't need to dominate overnight. They just needed to remind the world, we're still here, and we're not done yet. Here is the lesson for you. You've probably been there too. That moment where you messed up, where everyone counted you out, where you thought, maybe I'm done. Maybe it was a breakup, maybe a failed business, maybe you got laid off or ghosted by life itself. Intel got cocky, made mistakes, lost billions, but they owned it, regrouped, and came back swinging. So what's your comeback story? What if you're just one good decision away from turning it all around? They said Intel was finished. Now they're building the future. So what are you building? Don't give up. Don't listen to the noise. You are not your worst mistake. You're just getting started. If Intel can go from almost obsolete to quantum dreams, you can get through that ex texting you at 2 a.m. or your boss not knowing your name after 3 years. This isn't the end. It's just the reboot. Intel's story is a wake-up call for every company that rests on its past success. It took near collapse, internal shakeups, and a return to bold vision to remind the world of who they are. The move that saved them wasn't just about chips. It was about leadership, reinvention, and the courage to bet on the future when the world had written them off. So the next time you think a giant is too big to fail, remember Intel. And if you're ever on the edge of failure yourself, maybe, just maybe, that's exactly where your comeback begins. Subscribe if you believe in second chances and quantum leaps, and share this with someone who needs to hear that comebacks are possible. Because sometimes rock bottom is the perfect launch pad. Because remember, the future doesn't belong to the perfect, it belongs to the persistent. Smash that like button if you needed this today.